Mark Ham,
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
At this time, I'm going to ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to Louis Williams. He's going to run the meeting as Vice Mayor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 2 is the consent docket. Item A is approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held June 21st, 2021. Item B is approve the minutes of the special city council meeting held May 14th, 2021. Item C is receive the minutes of the regular planning commission meeting held May 11th, 2021. Item D is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $2,256,936.92. Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It's consent docket. Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 3 is consider the final plat of Oak Ridge Crossing North, located in the southwest quarter of Section 27, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being north of Southwest 34th Street and east of Santa Fe Avenue. Application by TWD Oklahoma Properties, LLC. Tom Turner. Planning Commission recommended approval 6-0.
Mayor and Council, this property is located north of Southwest 34th Street on the east side of Santa Fe Avenue. It is currently vacant. The preliminary plat was approved in May of 2021 with 3 commercial lots, and the application has not changed since that time. Public utilities are available to serve the site. Property is accessed from South Santa Fe and Southwest 34th Street. The curb cuts to arterial roadways will be minimized at the building permit stage to reduce the traffic congestion. No FEMA floodplain is located on the site. The developer is over-detaining stormwater on the site to mitigate its impact on the surrounding properties, the flooding on surrounding properties. MESHEC has reviewed and approved the drainage plan for this detention. Property is shown on the comprehensive plan as neighborhood commercial. Due to the commercial nature of this application, an amendment to the plan is not required. And because this is a growing area of Moore, this final plat does provide development opportunities, and staff recommends approval of this application.
Okay. Anyone have questions? Elizabeth?
Make a motion we approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Thank you. Item passes. Item 4, consider rezoning application number RZ1008, located in the northwest quarter of Section 30, Township 10 North, Range 2 West, being south of Southeast 19th Street and east of Bryant Avenue, from A1 Rural Agricultural District to R1 PUD Single Family Residential District as a planned unit development, and C2 PUD Neighborhood Commercial District as a planned unit development. And approve ordinance number 974 sub 21, application by Landmark Land Company LLC. Planning Commission recommended approval 4-2, Ward 1.
Mayor and Council, items number 4 and 5 on your agenda are companion items. This site is located south of Southeast 19th Street and east of Bryant Avenue. It's currently zoned A1. The request is to develop a property with a single-family neighborhood of 492 homes on 155 acres. That is 3.16 units per acre. The hard corner of this site would be reserved for C2 neighborhood commercial properties and uses. The public utilities are available to serve this site, and stormwater detention is required. Access is provided by 19th Street and Bryant Avenue. The site has 2 major tributaries of the North Fork River, along the eastern and southern edges of the property. There is about 53 acres of floodplain or floodway located on the site, and approximately 10% of the floodplain is proposed to be reclaimed. The remainder will be used as natural amenity areas. Other amenity sites include a pool, clubhouse, playground, and walking trails located on the site. The applicant is requesting a PUD to have variances to the city code. They are requesting 50-foot wide lots versus the 55-foot that is required by code, and a 14-foot front yard setback and 20-foot garage setbacks versus the 25-foot setback that's required by code. Additionally, to those variances, they also are including the use unit classifications for gasoline sales and mini storage for the commercial tract. But those are optional uses only in addition to all of the other C2 uses. So it is possible that due to market conditions, neither of these uses would ultimately be developed, but they wanted to have them as an option. The applicant is utilizing a PUD in order to relax these requirements in exchange for amenities that would otherwise not be required. The application does include the following amenities: walking trails along the east and southern creeks with a connection between the north and south neighborhood. There's also a walking trail proposed around the retention pond within the neighborhood. There are green belts and green areas reserved throughout the site. There's a pool, clubhouse, and a park that is being proposed within the development. The detention areas are designed with low-impact development techniques. These include naturalized soaking bays and biofiltration systems. For the personal storage use unit classification on the commercial tract, the PUD outlines certain design elements that would be required if that is developed. And basically, it would mimic the site, the mini storage site at Main and Eastern with the brick facade, the faux windows, shutters, and the setbacks that you see along the arterial roadway. And finally, increased landscaping requirements. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be open space residential. This land use allows for single-family density of up to 3 lots per acre with 30% open space and neighborhood commercial at the corner. This development proposes 3.16 lots per acre with 35% open space. And staff believes that this application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan. And although staff does have some concern with the 20-foot garage setbacks, Planning Commission discussed this option fully at their Planning Commission meeting. They did ultimately recommend approval that includes this reduced setback. And staff recommends approval of both of these applications. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
What's the average lot depth?
Average lot depth.
Zach Roach, Ideal Homes, 1320 North Border, 115 feet average lot depth.
115?
Yep.
Okay, so 50 by 115. So if we take the 155 minus the 50-some odd acres of open space, we're now showing 500 homes roughly into 100 acres.
Approximately, it's, we're gonna.
We're at four units per acre in reality.
Right. That said, as the way we calculate on the common area and the open space, we may be able to reclaim some of it. The other possibility is depending on what, flood reclamation allows for, it could go down as well. It's something that it's a little bit in flux right now.
What is the average square footage of these homes, and are they going to be 2-story or single-story?
Average square footage of these homes is going to be approximately 1,750 square feet.
Okay. I mean, I have a pretty big concern about the 20-foot garage distance. That usually leads to a lot of disgruntled citizens that we already deal with constantly with street parking. I don't really see a way that we can, or personally that I could move forward with this. Is there any room for adjustment there because one household now might have 3 or 4 cars, which we commonly see in my neighborhood, and I know other council members do as well. There's going to be nowhere to park except in the street, which will cause a lot of problems.
So there's a couple of thoughts on that, and as we were discussing with Planning Commission, and I'll also have Richard jump in here as well. One of the things that we've seen, we manage 23 different homeowners associations at this point around the metro area, and with almost without exception, all of them are 20-foot building line setbacks for the home. So I can totally appreciate the point that you make, because we ultimately have to deal with that, not only from the city side, but from the HOA side. But kind of paradoxically and a little bit counterintuitively, what we've seen is we have less issues with this. And I take this back. I've got a development in Moore called Sundance that has a 25-foot setback. And I've also got all my other developments that have 20-foot setbacks. And we would experience, generally speaking, more problems with the 25-foot, because people would look at that as an area that they could squeeze that extra car in, which would ultimately end up blocking the sidewalk. And so with the 20-foot setbacks, the anecdotal evidence from I've seen from the HOA has been that people are less likely to try and squeeze those two cars back to back inside of there. That does lead to some parking issues on the street, and what we do through the HOA and through covenants and restrictions is we make sure that you have to have an operable vehicle, and we police that through the HOA to make sure that we don't have more on-street parking, so you aren't getting people, cars that are leaking oil and putting stuff like that in the HOA, and we're able to manage it that way. I live in my third ideal home. I'm building my fourth ideal home. I have a 20-foot setback in every one of the neighborhoods that I live in, and I can just tell you from experience from where I've been, on stuff, it hasn't been an issue for me or my wife as we drive our vehicles through there, and it's been preferable to me to be able to make sure that we don't get that second car trying to squeeze in behind those cars and block that sidewalk.
Are these going to be, I'm assuming, 2-car garage homes or 3-car garage?
Primarily 2-car garage homes.
Okay.
Third car options, but 2-car primarily.
I appreciate you bringing all that to our attention. We hear it constantly. The issues of people, especially in older neighborhoods where there's street parking issues. It's just a revisited subject in the last 5 years that I've been on council that I don't see going away. And to me, authorizing this will just amplify that by a dramatic number with 500 homes. I mean, that's a lot of people. So I find that pretty problematic personally.
And there'll be no restrictions in the HOA for street parking?
The HOA governing documents are going to drive that for operable vehicles. There'll be restrictions on large things like RVs, campers and trailers like that will be driven through the HOA documentation. So that's one of the ways that we can help assuage that is by enforcing the covenants. All of our homeowners associations are managed by a property management association. It's an in-house one, and we're able to be able to limit that as well by keeping those large vehicles from on-street parking.
Elizabeth, I have a question. For Elizabeth. As far as, I know this is a preliminary plat, so sometimes I just need clarification on when we approve things. As far as that C2 and having the option for it to be a gasoline facility, I don't love that. As far as you're within about a quarter of a mile of a school, and as far as walkers, they require, I think it's up to 1.5 miles for elementary kids to walk to Heritage Trails, which is right there on the corner. So I do have some concerns about the approving that gasoline facility. Like right now, I would not feel comfortable with that. I could get over the 20-foot garages, which I actually texted Adam about today because this is our award. I could get over that faster than I could approve a gasoline facility on a corner where you have children walking to school.
So you're talking like you wouldn't be in favor of a 7-Eleven?
On that corner?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
I wouldn't, only because they require all those elementary school kids to walk.
Yeah.
So if you've ever drove that during school hours, you'll see everything from first graders walking with their parents or second or third graders who are latchkey kids, all the way up to sixth grade or walking to that school.
Okay.
Do we know do you know yet what the average cost of these homes are going to be? A ballpark idea?
Yes, these homes are going to run from about $170,000 to about $320,000. So, the average price in there is in the 250s, 260s, just as the quick math on that.
Thank you very much.
They're gorgeous homes.
Elizabeth, was the staff's recommendation to approve this?
Yeah.
Okay. I make the motion, we approve it.
Do I have a second? Was there a second? Did I hear a second? No?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, Vanessa, would you call for the vote, please?
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
No.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
No,
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
I would have approved without the gasoline, so when this comes back, just keep that in mind.
All right, item passes. Item 5 is the companion item. Consider the preliminary plat of Cardinal Landing located in the northwest quarter of Section 30, Township 10 North, Range 2 West, being south of Southeast 19th Street and east of South Bryant Avenue. Application by Landmark Land Company, LLC. Planning Commission recommended approval 4-2. Are there questions or discussion on this?
It's just the companion item, correct?
Right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sorry,
Yep.
the applicant does, so there's been a discussion about the required bike lane that is on Bryant Avenue. The comprehensive plan shows this as a bicycle route, and it's been council's decision to, as we move forward, to install these bike lanes on the side of the roadway. The applicant is proposing to have a multi-use trail that's 10 foot wide along the southern creek that would be dedicated to the city. It would be part of our trail system. But they are requesting for the bicycle trail along Bryant to be waived. They have given an extra 10 foot of right-of-way on Bryant in order for us to, as the city, to install that bike lane at a future date. But I'll let them discuss further. Thank
So
you.
is that part of what we're talking about here, or is this something that's got yet to be done?
No, the staff report does have the bicycle trail along Bryant as a requirement.
Okay.
It was discussed at Planning Commission. Planning Commission did approve it without the bicycle.
So what did we just
Lane.
approve, with or without?
Well, you have not approved
Okay,
anything yet
right,
of the
that's what we're
plat.
getting ready to do. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
that's why I wanted to bring
Okay.
this up. And I'll let the applicant
Yeah.
speak to that.
David Box, 522 Colcord Drive. So what we propose would be to build your standard sidewalk that's required in your ordinances along the arterial, donate the extra right-of-way that would be required to build that. So should the city decide to build it, they would already have the right-of-way as a donation from us. This was the same argument that we made at Planning Commission. Again, Planning Commission did recommend approval of Plat 4-2 with that one condition deleted. There were 9 conditions all told, and that was the only condition that we had any issue with. But as staff said, we do have significant lineal footage of that trail, walking trail, bike trail throughout this neighborhood that connects the south and the north and all of these ponds that we think will create a wonderful amenity for this neighborhood and also provide access for every neighbor within the neighborhood to utilize the pool and the clubhouse. So the concession, we believe, is you're getting a neighborhood with heavy amenities that would otherwise not be required and perhaps not seen in neighborhoods, with all the commitments for the pool, the clubhouse, the walking trail, the parks, and what will be a really neat water feature. And we'd ask to just build what the ordinances require, the width of the sidewalk, donate the right-of-way.
So Elizabeth explained that to me. I need help understanding this. Yeah. So normally we would ask for the developer to build that bike lane on the street. Is that correct?
So normally what we require is the developer to install the sidewalk or pedestrian improvements.
4 foot?
On arterial roads, it's 6 foot.
Okay.
Because this is a bicycle route, and because the council has preferred to put in the 10-foot multi-use trail on the edge of the roadways, that is what the staff report recommends. In addition to the 10-foot multi-use trail within their neighborhood on the southern creek.
But their 10-foot trail is not going to be bordering the street on Bryant.
That's not
Is
going
that
to be on the
correct?
arterial, correct?
No, the 10-foot trail that they have agreed to do is along the creek and not along Bryant.
So there's not a sidewalk on Bryant where those kids that I just
No,
talked about
there
are
will
walking
be
to
a
school?
There'll be a sidewalk.
Okay.
Right.
the 10-foot multi-use trail within your neighborhood to take it all cool places, sidewalk on Bryant, and you're going to give back some of your right-of-way to Bryant so we can install the bike lane.
The other
Okay.
4 foot that would
Okay.
create the bike.
Okay, I think I understand
Guys, I'm
that.
so sorry. I'm not trying to pick at you. It's just, that's another one of the number one things I hear mostly about is bike lanes and people that want them installed as the city's developed, not at a later
sidewalk,
date.
I have to
So
have
that's something
sidewalk.
else I'll
Just
have
get-
to disagree with. I just wanted to explain
okay
that up
with your
front.
class.
Sorry, I'm not trying to pick you out or anything. But yeah, I get a ton of calls about bike lanes and people want those created as the development occurs. And kind of like Danielle said, there's gonna be a lot of kids using that sidewalk that would have been a bike lane and families that would probably want that as they move into the home, not at a later date.
So, but you're saying that, just so I understand this and we can have this discussion, you're saying it's 10 foot and we're asking for 10 foot. You're going to do the sidewalk, which will be part of that 10 foot. It'll be 6 foot. And then the 4 feet will be ours to install as we have to do improvements or whatnot on that street. Is that correct, Elizabeth?
Correct.
I'm assuming so there'll be a 6-foot sidewalk, a curb, a 4-foot bike lane, then a street. That's what you're saying the city will have to do.
What the city would probably do at a later date is come in and remove the 6-foot sidewalk and install a 10-foot sidewalk.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a waste.
Practically,
Yeah.
that's what we would do. We wouldn't scab on an additional, 4 feet.
Right. So it's not really going to be a bike lane, it would be just a larger sidewalk.
Ask the manager
Well, I
what
call them
does.
multi-use trails
Okay,
because
there you go, okay.
they can be, people
Right.
will use them for
Right.
ice, yes.
Right.
Okay.
That's why they're 10 feet.
I would like to ask the city manager how he feels about this. If you have a feeling one way or the other on this.
Well, it doesn't make sense to build the 6-foot sidewalk and then tear it out. So what's the projected cost of the 6-foot sidewalk?
6-foot sidewalk is going to run somewhere in the $30 a lineal foot consideration. So I'd kind of give some history on this. Let me start off by saying Ideal Homes agrees on connectivity. In fact, I think that when we were doing the development, we asked the city of Moore to come down and take a look at our Greenleaf Trails neighborhood in Norman, which is just very close and very, just south of here a few miles. We pride ourselves on being able to have that interconnectivity. And so one of the things when we were looking at the layout in this neighborhood was we said, hey, how can we best serve the interconnectivity in the neighborhood where we're not going to have a partner on that, where it's just going to be on Ideal Homes to do that. So we've committed to running those lineal feet of walking trails, several thousand feet, crossing the creek coming down through there, to be able to do that, to go overboard, to build that trail system and to build that connectivity, to encourage pedestrian walking, to limit the use for cars, to limit all of those things that we want to encourage to do. When we were looking at, trying to make sure where we were spending our dollars and spending our dollars wisely, we took a look holistically at the project and said, we think to be able to make this work for us, what we can do is we can invest in the internal side of this, invest in the amenities, and if we can partner with the city and donate that right-of-way, maybe the city can come alongside and help us with that to be able to make that work for us. And so that was kind of our look on it, trying to balance the practical, just the business side of this, with what we want to do, which is connectivity on the inside. So since on the private side of that, that's where we want to spend those dollars. We want to make sure that we've got that able to go.
And the cost of the 6-foot sidewalk in dollars?
You said $30 a linear
It's a
foot?
half a mile, so it's a somewhere between
2,500 feet?
$70,000 and $100,000 item.
What could we do as a city to have you guys to do this?
The right way.
Yeah.
Do it the right way the first time. There's no way we're going to tear up a perfectly
Well,
good sidewalk. I mean,
and just, from the manager's perspective is, would prefer to do these things just once if possible.
Right.
And so if it's the desire of the council to approve the application and the 6-foot sidewalk, what I would propose is that when this is being built, that the city partner up on that construction and put in our 40% of it at the same time, so the 10-foot trail could be done and just be done the first time.
is that setting a precedent?
Yeah, is it setting a
It's
precedence
gonna
that
benefit them, though. A bike trail is gonna sell that property. That's what it's gonna sell.
It'll help, sure.
Yeah.
I still think it's a big deal right there next to that school. I know that's my area, that's my neighborhood, but I do know that there are so many kids that are on that
Is
area
it just
constantly.
something y'all could do? I mean, is that a deal breaker if we say no to this development, and you're not, are you willing to go ahead and just build a 10-foot
Well,
multi-use trail?
would it be possible to do a partnership with the city on that? I mean, or if we could donate or put the proceeds up front to the city to collect and have it a later date, would that be an option?
I don't know. Do we need to
I mean, the
talk
rough-
about this a little more?
The rough math on it is it's 50 grand for our part of this. If it's 25, if it's a half a mile, that's 2,500 feet. If 6 foot is $30 a foot, it'd be $20 a foot for the 4 foot. So we're talking 50 grand.
What's 500 new utility customers worth to us in a year?
Well, it would be significant.
Yeah.
So, and it would cost us more than 50 grand if we were to go in and tear it out.
Tear it out.
And then
Right.
replace it.
Right,
So
yeah.
it would be much
Yeah.
more expensive at that point in time.
Well, let's partner up with them and let's do this deal. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, now
I'm
we've
good
get
with
it
that. I
done.
do worry about, Danielle brought up a good point of setting a precedent here, but.
Feel like
but
Melissa brought it up,
In
my
reality,
mouth's
though,
just louder.
they're donating the property, so I feel like that's compensation,
Bus.
for the 40, for the
Well, I
rest of
thought
the
it
4
was
feet
credit.
if
I
they
didn't know
donate
it
the
was.
property. So in a way, it's not much, I mean, they are putting money on the table here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Land.
And just on a going forward basis, on things like these that come up, obviously it would have to make economic sense for the city to partner up and contribute at that time. So, I mean, there may be other scenarios down the road where it doesn't make sense for us to.
Okay.
So then, the thinking would be different.
And this is a designated bike route that the city has designated.
Right.
So just to point that out.
So how would do we need to,
Well, so we have a motion and a second to approve it as it is.
And is the bike lanes
I'll
in,
withdraw my motion if we need to
Yeah.
adjust
how do we
for that.
do this, Brooks?
yeah, how do we adjust
Randy?
it?
Randy?
How do we prove this?
That's a Randy question.
Because we're not approving it as it's submitted, so.
The easiest way would be to table it and bring it back with exactly what you would approve or not approve.
Right.
What would be the fastest way, as I see
That
head
cause you guys
shaking?
substantial
That affects your
delays?
timeline.
Yeah, we've got contractual obligations on the land. So one of the ways we could do it is we could just revise the language that staff has put as condition number 4. We could revise it to just require the 10-foot multi-purpose lane with an agreement to be reached between the developer and the city's portion not to exceed $50,000 for the installation of that portion.
Yeah, what he just said.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm good with that.
I make a motion.
Are we sure we're good on this math here, or?
Well,
I don't want it to affect them contractually, because I know that starts
Yeah,
costing money.
I don't
and
want to say
then-
50 grand that ends up costing you more than that either. I want to be fair about it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and if they're gonna say the city's portion not to exceed $50,000, it's, I mean,
Right.
it doesn't matter if the math is wrong.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve with the constraint, the city's portion of the 10-foot multi-use will not exceed $50,000.
Randy, do we have to do something with the first motion and second that's on the floor?
I withdrew my
You should
motion.
approve an amendment to the application and then approve the application.
Application. Okay,
Okay.
so Glenn has
I'll-
withdrawn his motion.
Yeah.
Who is
The mayor, sorry.
Yes. No, you're fine.
Uh,
That's my name.
So
So-
we need to do
Make an amendment.
an amendment, yeah.
So the 10-foot wide multi-use trail will be required with the city partnering not to exceed $50,000.
Is that sufficient? for
Make
what
a
you
motion
need?
to approve?
Yeah. She just made the
So
motion.
you're the
We
second.
need
Oh,
a
second.
Second.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
All right, so we have a motion and a second for an amendment to what was proposed, the original proposal for the 10-foot track and joining with them not to exceed 50,000. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, would you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Okay, now we need to
Approve.
approve item 5.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? All right, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Okay. Item passes. Very good, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing your project to more.
Yep. Item 6 is consider rezoning application number RZ1009, located in the northeast quarter of Section 30, Township 10 North, Range 2 West, being south of Southeast 19th Street and west of Sunny Lane Road, from C5 Automotive and Commercial Recreation District to C3 General Commercial District, and approve ordinance number 975 sub 21, application by 19th Street Plaza LLC, Lynn Medford. Planning Commission recommended approval 6-0, Ward 1.
Mayor and council, this item is located at the corner of 19th Street and Sunny Lane Avenue. And the property is currently developed with a strip center with existing businesses. The applicant is requesting to rezone this property to C3 in order to widen his scope of potential businesses that can locate within the shopping center. This shopping center currently has utilities. There's no detention that is required, and access is from 19th Street and Sunny Lane. The comprehensive plan shows this application as neighborhood commercial, and the C3 potential uses are neighborhood commercial in character, and so there's no amendment to the comprehensive plan required. Because this is really bringing a existing shopping center that is zoned C5 into a C3, it is more in keeping with the character of the existing shopping center, and staff recommends approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I just want, that intersection there, is that a joint intersection with Oklahoma City and Moore, or is it all, who owns that?
The east side of Sunny Lane is owned by Oklahoma City.
Do we control those lights, or are those Oklahoma City's?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 7 is consider rezoning application number RZ1010, located in the northeast quarter of Section 34, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Southwest 34th Street and west of Telephone Road, from A2 Suburban Agricultural District to RE Residential Estates, and approve ordinance number 976 sub 21, application by Dean Harrington. Planning Commission recommended approval 6-0. This is Ward 3.
Mayor and council, this site is located at 4205 South Telephone Road. The applicant desires to split this property along the creek line and deed the west half of the property to 4201, which is the home directly to the north of the property. This is because the road access to maintain that back portion of 4205 can only be accessed through an existing drive and culvert that happens to be located at 4201 South Telephone Road. Public utilities are available to serve the site. Access is provided by South Telephone Road. The comprehensive plan calls for this to be open space residential. There are no new lots created. We're not trying to put in another house. It is simply a lot line adjustment to allow the property owner at 4201 to maintain that back property, since they have the drive and the culvert on their property to access it. So because there are no new lots created, this application is in compliance with the comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of this application. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 8 is consider rezoning application number RZ1011, located in the northwest quarter of Section 22, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Southwest 4th Street and east of Santa Fe Avenue from A2 Suburban Agricultural District to A2 PU Suburban Agricultural District with a permissive use for communication towers, and approve ordinance number 977 sub 21, application by Tyler Media LLC. Planning Commission recommended approval 6-0. This is Ward 3.
Mayor and council, this application is located south of Southwest 4th Street and east of Santa Fe Avenue. The property is currently zoned A2. It was the site of the KOMA towers that were destroyed in the 2015 tornado. The applicant is proposing to reconstruct the towers, but relocate the westernmost tower approximately 480 feet away from the Plaza Towers neighborhood. This will result in a setback of 600 feet or more from the towers to any point of the neighborhood, Plaza Towers neighborhood. Public utilities are available to serve the site, and access is from existing drives on Southwest 4th Street. The comprehensive plan calls for this location to be urban residential. Because there is no new buildings being proposed and just the towers, the comprehensive plan does not need to be amended at this time. There's a possibility that we may come back with a future development at some other point in time. So we believe that the urban residential land use should still stand.
So do we know how many towers?
There will be 3 towers.
Okay.
They will just be shifted over.
Sure.
Staff recommends approval of this application. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Move to approval.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Be sure
Item-
we'd like to have KOMA back. So, since it is Tyler Media, hey, you know, just saying, anybody will do there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So item 9 is consider rezoning application number RZ1012, located in the southwest quarter of Section 22, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being north of Southwest 19th Street and east of South Santa Fe Avenue from C2 Neighborhood Commercial District to C2 PUD Neighborhood Commercial District as a planned unit development, and approve ordinance number 978 sub 21, application by J.C. Holmes LLC, James Scott. Planning Commission recommended approval 6-0, and this is Ward 3.
Mayor and council, this application is located north of Southwest 19th Street and east of Santa Fe Avenue. It is a vacant lot that's behind the Hideaway Pizza and the Strip Center behind Hideaway Pizza. The applicant is proposing mixed-use office space that would include C2 uses plus some other more industrial-oriented uses that are not actually industrial. The uses that are being proposed are listed within the staff report. They are proposing a planned unit development for this site. Public utilities are available to serve the site, and stormwater detention is provided by a retention pond to the east. Access is provided by a private drive from Southwest 19th Street. There is a small portion of the site that has a 100-year floodplain located on it. There will be no development within that floodplain. The proposed variances to city code that the applicant is proposing include a reduced rear yard setback from 20 feet that's required by code to 12 feet, and a reduced bricking requirement to 30% in the front, 10% on the east side facade, and 0 bricking on the north side facade. And again, the variances would include the several higher intensity land uses in addition to the C2 land uses, but no outdoor storage would be allowed on the property. For amenities, the planned unit development does propose 17 trees and 12 shrubs. That is a significant increase in landscaping above what city code requires. The comprehensive plan designates this property as neighborhood commercial. because this planned unit development does require a significant increase in landscaping, and it also has a provision for no outdoor storage. This application is in compliance with the plan, and staff recommends approval of this application. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So the front of the building is the south side?
That's correct.
Okay. And the setback exception is on the west side?
The setback exception is going to be on the north side.
On the north side? All right.
Yes,
So that's from 20 feet to 12 feet on the north side?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the restaurant, Hideaway.
Yeah, and the drive is the one that runs just to the west of Hideaway that runs all the way back through there?
Yes.
I have a question, just looking at the drawing. Is there any fencing or issues you may have said this and I didn't hear you, I apologize.
That's okay.
But for light, light flooding, noise, they dump the trash cans and things, will those be in the front, or are they gonna be back behind the business? I just see there's 5 homes that are right behind it.
Yes. So there is a site-proof fencing requirement that would be required between this property and the residential properties to the north. In addition, their intent is to line that backside with evergreen trees that would be a buffer to the building. There's nothing that is being proposed as far as entrances to the north, so it would just be a blank wall. If there were any lighting, they would have to comply with our lighting ordinance, which limits the height of a wall pack. I believe it's a limit of either 10 or 15 feet, I forget which one. But the lighting is limited by city code, and they're not proposing any access on that.
Since there's no access, it looks like most of the lighting would be on the south side, so.
The dumpsters is a good comment. They're actually proposing to utilize the existing dumpsters of the shopping center to the south.
Okay.
If they need to expand that, they can add in another dumpster, but that would be the dumpster location.
Okay. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 10, consider approval of the city's contribution to the Regional Transportation Authority of Central Oklahoma, RTA, in the amount of $75,172.
Mayor and council, this has been discussed during the budget negotiations or during the budget process, and is included in the budget. The RTA did come and make a proposal or make a presentation to the council here recently, and again, they have lots of things that they need to consider, and I think it's in the best interest right now for the city of Moore to stay in this, so I would recommend approval.
Hey, Brooks, I just have one quick question for you. At what point would you think that the city would no longer be a part of this? What in your mind would you have to say, you think that this is
Well,
not what's been
during their presentation, they said that they would be back in a year and they would have some more information for us that would be a little more concrete than what they have, and so I'd want to hear that before I make another recommendation. I mean, they set the bar, so I think they need to come back, next April or May and let us know where things stand.
All right.
I don't think we should pay it until we get commitment on at least a depot where we get a train stop. I mean, if there's no benefit to our citizens, I hate to spend citizen money for something that just goes out the window.
Well, as part of the initial plan, the city of Moore is slated for 2 potential stops, one on 4th Street and then one perhaps on 34th Street. So, there's still a lot of work to do, and you know, the number of stops in the other cities still needs to be determined. However, the city of Moore is slated for 2 stops, and of course, I think we have some say-so into if we want 1 stop or 2 stops, but I think the RTA recognizes that it would be foolish for us to participate if we didn't at least have 1 stop.
That's been my understanding on
Well, the other problem is there's 28 trains that use that track every day, and it's like, I don't see a spot for them, for anybody else to use that track other than the people that own it.
They're in negotiations now with BNSF, and the legislature in this past session passed a bill which would indemnify BNSF for the operation of the commuter rail from the RTA, which BNSF said, you know, there is no deal without this legislation, so that is passed. They're in negotiations now, and you know, how those negotiations come out is anybody's guess at this point in time.
Okay.
When we discussed this, we talked about this as part of the money that goes into the planning. It goes into fighting for the legislation. And I know we all know this, but just so it's stated one more time. And that next year there needs to be a more concrete plan, or we're not going to continue just paying planning fees.
Sure.
So
Okay.
just
And just
a nice reminder.
one other comment. The legislator also, when they created the RTA, said that the funding would have to be a sales tax. And so that's a huge hurdle. I think that all the cities are going to have, you know, so.
Well, and we've even got, we've got to have the discussions about how we're gonna manage the bus thing, because we don't have any type of bus system today. In order to make this work effectively,
Right.
we will have to have a bus system.
I
And
agree.
so we've got a lot of really hard discussions to have to move forward, but I think I agree with Brooks right now that we need to stay in it, at least right now, so.
And just so the council knows, other cities have the exact same concerns that our city does, and so there will be many discussions to be had going forward. And these concerns have all been expressed to the RTA on multiple occasions.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
No.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 11 is consider awarding bid number 2021-008 to Crossland Construction in the amount of $3,231,931 for construction of Phase 1 of the Public Works Facility Project and authorize execution of said contract.
Mayor and council, last November, voters approved the extension of the quarter-cent sales tax for 4 years, beginning April 1st of this year for the collection, ending March 31st of 2025. The purpose of that sales tax was 50% for parks improvements and 50% for a new public works facility. So the estimated revenue from that quarter-cent sales tax is approximately $5 million for each of the facility, for the parks improvements, and another $5 million for the public works facility. On June 2nd, we received bids from 6 contractors for the public works facility, and the apparent low bidder, the lowest responsive bidder was Crossland Construction Company at $4,995,300. It should be noted that that was their bid for Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the facility. Phase 1 consisting of essentially the fleet maintenance facility, the building maintenance facility, and the C&G covers. Phase 2 would consist of the sanitation extension of the building, would be for housing sanitation and street and drainage, and then construction of some salt and sand bins. In addition to this bid, it should be noted that this bid was for just the building itself. And so There's another approximately $2.2 million in construction needed that Silver Star would provide for the civil site work, the grading, and all the concrete work for the entire facility. And then Veolia would be providing the water and sewer for the facility. And as I said, that's about $2.2 million. So when you look at the overall cost, we're somewhere around $7.2 million. And the bids came in much higher, than anticipated when we first started this process because of the bidding atmosphere that we're in now today because of the high cost of materials. So what we did is we sat down with Anthony McDermott and his staff at TAP, Crossland Construction, and city staff, and we took a look at the bid documents and determined, we did some value engineering and determined where we could, maybe change some material, do something a little different, and come up with some cost savings. We were able to do that. The cost savings were about $383,000. We were able to reduce the contract amount. So what we did, we also looked at how much did Crossland have in Phase 1 and how much in Phase 2. And so when we took the reductions, the amount that Crossland's contract would be $3,231,931. And that's what we're recommending tonight, is that you award Phase 1 of the contract for Crossland Construction to build the Phase 1 facilities of the building. We would still plan on continuing. We will have Silver Star and Veolia build Phase 1 and Phase 2 for the civil site work, so that when we're ready to, when we're completed and we need to come back to construct Phase 2 for the sanitation and the street and drainage, the amount that we'd be looking at would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 million sometime in the future.
So their contract is gonna stay in at about 2.2. So we've been all in at 5.5 for Phase 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct, right about 5.5, somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah. And so we would recommend that you award Phase 1 tonight to Crossland Construction for Phase 1, and the amount of that, the $3,231,931.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis, Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. This time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 12 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held June 21st, 2021. Item B, approve the minutes of the special Moore Public Works Authority meeting held May 14th, 2021. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $1,425,327.21.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. This time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 13 is the consent docket. Item A is accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held June 21st, 2021. Item B is approve the minutes of the special Moore Risk Management meeting held May 14th, 2021. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $223,040.30.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. At this time, we'll recess the more risk management meeting and reconvene the city council meeting. Let the record show that all the members are still present that were here before. Item 14 is new business. Item A is citizens forum for items not on the agenda. I don't have anybody signed up. Does anybody care to speak? If you'd come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Mayor and Council. My name is Stephen Marshall, and I live at 1811 Bel Air Circle here in Moore. And we have a problem in our neighborhood every time that we receive substantial amounts of rain. It goes into our sewer systems, and we start losing the ability to use sewer. This past week has been one of the longest times in the almost 8 years that we've lived in our residence that this has been a problem, where we went a week where it was just backing up onto our back porch. And I know that our neighborhood is older, being in Northmore, but I would like to see if there's anything that the city can do to help rectify this problem. It happens every time we have a rainstorm or even snowstorms, where we will go several days and we will have to go to gas stations to use the bathroom and friends' houses to take baths and showers, and it's quite the problem. So.
And is this just at your residence or the entire neighborhood?
It's our neighborhood, and in fact, I saw crews out today working on one of my neighbors. I called no less than 10 times, and they would come out, and the staff is great. They're very friendly to us, and they say, it's not your problem. It's definitely on the city. There's just so much water in the system that it can't handle it, and if there's just anything we can do to help, because it's with the 2-year-old that's starting to potty train, it's very difficult for him to not understand, no, you can't flush the toilet, no, you can't do those things. So that's why I'm here today.
Is that something we could have MESHAC take a look at, since they were doing our drainage study anyway?
Well, I can initially, I'll have Robert and Pistow look at it and see, and Jerry, and see what,
What needs to happen?
see what
Yeah.
can happen, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
something we
not
definitely need to, especially if it is a city issue,
Yeah.
that we need to get that taken care of.
I'm looking at it.
Really, we don't have stormwater and sewage in the same
together.
system, right?
No, not the
Okay.
same system,
All
but
right.
we do get overflow and I into the sewer system from rain. rainfall.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Were they? That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
What it looks like when the creek behind the houses fill up, there's storm drains or manholes in that area. I think that water is just flowing in.
Flowing into
Okay.
'em.
All right, very good.
If you want, you might give your contact information to one of them. Okay. I was gonna say that'll be a lot easier if you do it tonight than if you call staff and go through staff.
And Bruce, if you just kind of give us a update whenever
Yeah.
everybody looks into it and what's going on.
Yeah, it's-
Anyone else that would like to address the council? Okay, not. Item B is items from the city council or trustees.
I just have a couple things. I had 2 people call me this week about solicitors. So I bounced that to Jerry right before the meeting. Just sent an email on solicitation permits and how we handle those, because I do think that there's maybe some confusion. Do we require every person from each company that's out soliciting to require a permit?
Yes.
Do we require them to display it
They are to have it on their person.
at all times? And that's what I thought.
And they're told that.
I thought that, and that was my
Missing-
understanding. I had a call today, and I think there was some misinformation, and I know that it was not a great situation anyway, and it's easy to tell when someone's upset, but, okay.
I'm
I
getting
just-
a lot of calls this week.
I imagine so. Whoever
it's-
she talks to, she says they're always very nice.
It's the pest control people.
Actually, hers was a security company, but
Okay.
I do get a lot of pest controls working from home
I
too.
was gonna ask, does that include like locally owned mowing
It's-
businesses that have to have that as well?
I thought it was supposed to be everyone.
Yeah,
Everybody.
anyone
knocking.
They
that
knock
goes
on
door
your
to
door,
door.
they're supposed to have a
They're
permit.
supposed to.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I had that's not that exciting, but on the parks, and I don't see Sue here tonight, so I'll just mention it. I know we have that Diamond movie this week, so I'm interested to see how it goes, because I did see that we changed the rule to anybody under 16 has to be accompanied by an adult, which I don't love that rule, but I did see we changed that. So if that doesn't solve the problem, then I'd like for it to come back to council, because I think we have a bigger issue if it's still an issue.
Yeah, thanks to the city staff for the 4th of July celebration.
Yes.
I have a little bit of a cold, and so I was watching it from my home, and it was still pretty awesome. And lots of people from out of town and from more shot me a text or reached out just talking about how great the event was for everyone. So thank you all.
I agree. Great job.
And regarding the parks, I've seen this past week a marked improvement at with the trash at Central Park that's in the parking lot and all that. That's been cleaned up a lot better, so I appreciate that.
I had the opportunity to be at the fireworks, Buck Thomas Park, and it was just add on to what everybody said. It was ran well with our police, fire, IMSA, and all of that. It was a great time and just a good family atmosphere, so it was fun. And Brooks, I did have one thing that I wanted to remind you about. We had talked briefly about doing some type of a planning meeting with just the council, and I know that will require a lot of advance notice for everybody to find a day and all that work that will work. So whether it be in the fall or the winter, just I think it's important that we could, as best as we can, at least try to plan something like that for the council. I know we've done it before, and city staff have had the opportunity to come, and I don't know if that's what it would look like, but I know it'd be good, I think, for us to sit down and talk.
Yeah, it's in the works.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay, anyone else? Okay, item C is items from the city manager, trust manager.
Just want to thank the Parks Department, Police and Fire, and Emergency Management for all their hard work on the 4th of July event. It was a great event. Also, glad to see Governor Stitt came and spent the day with us. His daughters were selling snow cones, and Governor Stitt actually did the countdown for the fireworks. So, you know, the governor could have gone anywhere, but he chose to spend his 4th of July and more. So, appreciate that. And then would like to thank Battalion Chief Corley Moore, who put on a conference that had speakers from multiple states and 120 attendees. Great training opportunity for our fire department and for other departments around the state. And so a 3-day event. And so appreciate Corley Moore and the Chief Herbster and all the good work that they do.
Cool. All right. All right, with that, we're at item 15, adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Let's call the vote one more time.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for running